Hey, what's up everybody? It's a Red Baron 59, and excuse me if you hear any background, talking. That's my little man with me today. He's here while I record this, so, again, I apologize if it bothers you, but it's the way it's gotta be. Dad life, baby. Anyway, I wanted to go ahead and I guess kind of give my summary of my experiences with Black Ops 3's beta and, what I think of it, what I thought was interesting, what I thought maybe needs some balancing and some changes. And I guess I'll go ahead and start with Black Hats. I thought that was probably, like, above all the things that I saw, the one that I really think needs to be retooled the most. Black Hats, if you hadn't, played the beta or seen anything on YouTube, which I would find pretty difficult for you not to have, Black Hats in this game are really very strong. Black Hats allow you, and this is, by the way, 61 and 12? 61 and 12? 60 something like, I think it's 61 and 12. But anyway, if you had not played the beta and you didn't really understand, anything about the Black Hats, I beat some of these guys, by the way. I get some nice little, moments in this. I'm sorry I'm getting distracted, but I had some, nice little moments in this, and I'll kind of go into some of my feelings on that. But anyway, Black Hats, they allow you to literally take anybody's score streak, which is in the Black Hats in Black Ops 2, what they allowed you to do was steal a care package or destroy things, pretty quickly, like UAVs, etc. It was actually honestly in some ways easier to do as far as taking down air support than using a rocket. And the Black Hats, though, in this game allow you with two hits to take down pretty much any score streak and turn it into your own. Whether that be the race and that was a common thing, or people taking a UAV, which happened all the time. That's kind of unreal, and take for instance team deathmatch. So say you're not a very good player, right? You're a very average player, and you get your first wraith or your first big kill streak in general, or even a UAV. If you're the guy that struggles to get a UAV, and some asshole is running the Black Hats, and he takes your UAV from you, or whatever else it may be. I could not imagine how frustrating that would be. And if you are a good player, and in a lobby you get, say, 2 or 3 wraiths, and every time you just stop calling them in, because every time there's some guy in the lobby that is constantly taking it from you, and then you gotta shoot it down. I don't really like that. I mean, there's already enough ways for players to get free kills in this game, in my opinion. And I am not bitching about the specialist abilities. They seem pretty balanced, and there's definitely going to be some moments of frustration involving that, but let's be honest, there's so many ways you can get BS'd in Call of Duty to begin with. I think that the specialist characters are the least of our worries. I think that they add a nice element of entertainment to it, and I think as well that the game built on the movement mechanics from Advanced Warfare quite nicely. I think it's going to take some time for me, at least personally, to get really good with it. But I've seen people who have already, that played the alpha and got invited out by Activision and Treyarch, some of the pro players, including Karma, that have already shown there's a lot of possibility for creativity and ingenuity with approaching how to, manage gunfights in this game. And it looks like a lot of fun. It's going to be a really fun Call of Duty time. Now, the Black Hats, though, the long story short, I just don't think it's fair to either strong players or weak players, because the guys that really struggle to get kill streaks, I feel more sorry for them than anybody when they finally get that kill streak, and they're doing really well, and they've been working really hard to get whatever kill streak they want, and then they get shat on by some dude with a Black Hat just taking their stuff. That's kind of ridiculous. I really think it needs to be retooled to work basically the same way it worked in Black Ops 2. It wasn't really a big deal in Black Ops 2. You still got points out of it. You could destroy a lot of different things with them. Plus, you could, of course, scavenge them, so you could continue to pick them up and get rid of things as you went along, which was pretty cool. If you were, if you had Engineer on and you saw a sentry gun through a wall, you could actually take that Black Hat and destroy the sentry gun through the wall, so you didn't even have to deal with it. Which was, I felt like a fair application for the Black Hat. They weren't crazy powerful. You could get killed while using them, but they didn't allow you to steal kill streaks. I don't think it should work that way. It should strictly have to be destroying it. And I definitely think that the community should bring this up to Vandahar before the game comes out, because I really just think the Black Hat doesn't need to work that way, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way about that. But as far as weapon balance goes and my favorite guns, that's kind of the next topic I wanted to touch on. I felt like overall the weapons were really balanced in this game. I had a great time with every gun that I used in the game. The shotguns are strong, but I felt like they weren't as strong as they were in Black Ops 2, at least in my experience so far. Maybe it's because I just haven't had a lot of hands-on time with them and haven't gotten the chance to like really get good with them in this game, but I felt like they weren't quite as strong. Then you have the LMGs. The LMGs didn't really feel like they had a very slow movement rate compared to the other weapons, and I'm guessing a lot of that has to do with their not being lightweight in the game. But the Dingo was a good gun. I got like 2 quad feeds on one game with it. I had a lot of fun with the Dingo when I used it. As far as the submachine guns go, every one of them seemed pretty solid. The Kuda was okay. It was like the KF5, not a monster, but a viable weapon. The Razorback was really not even that strong. I heard so many people complaining about it. They need to keep in mind what the ASM-1 was before it got nerfed. That was an OP gun. I mean, I loved using it, and I still enjoy using the ASM-1, but I can acknowledge that the ASM-1 was pretty fucking beastly when it first came out. You know, obviously due to the 8 shots that first came out, coming out at like 1,100 or 1,000 rounds a minute with just a regular one. I mean, that was pretty crazy. But you know, like post nerf, I feel like the Razorback post nerf, or the ASM-1 post nerf, is basically pretty similar to the ASM-1. I mean, it's not really an incredibly powerful gun, but it definitely is like probably, at least so far as I've seen, one of the better subs. Then you had the Vesper, which was basically what it seems like the Scorpion Evo of this game. You know, like the really high fire rate, low damage one. I didn't really get to use the VMP, which is, I guess, the thing I wanted to touch on. Now, I didn't really dig the HEK. I saw a lot of people did, but it just felt like it got a lot of hits and wasn't really like the strongest weapon. The Man of War, once I got rapid fire for it, I mean, it was pretty solid without it, but once I got rapid fire for the Man of War is a beast. I had a lot of fun with that gun. Ooh, and this is why Reject is beast mode. Look at that. Look at that. I still picked up the hater. Still picked it up. You know, and some people may complain about this one, but let's be all the way honest. All of the specialists that we've seen so far, except for maybe the ninja guy, which I didn't get to use him, but I saw a lot of people complaining about the ninja character just not being very strong. But in my experience, pretty much all of them had some sort of very powerful ability, and it really seemed pretty balanced. I mean, you know, what am I doing that's any different than anybody else? I'm just getting up. You know, everybody else has got a one-shot ability that kills you instantaneously. I just got up. That's all I did. You know, I mean, and so in general, I felt like this game, when it came down to the weapons, was really well balanced. The sniper rifles, they seemed, in my opinion, well balanced as well. They're doing what they can to mediate some of the frustration that those of us that don't really enjoy getting killed in one bullet feel every time we come into a sniper heavy lobby or a shotgun heavy lobby. And that's essentially that, you know, basically with the ability of with auto aim and things like that, that even the worst person, I'm not saying that sniping takes no skill, but even the worst person can just randomly aim down their sights in my general direction and kill me across the map or even right in front of my face. You know, I can hit him 2 to 3 times point blank and still get killed in one shot by a guy that is terrible. At least in this game, it seems like it's going to reward only really the snipers that are good, which is the way that I feel it should be. It should be limited to people that really know how to do it, that are actually strong snipers. And I have no problem with that. Like, if you're legitimately a beast at sniping, or Pomage, or, you know, some other member of FaZe that's really good, then more power to you. Enjoy it. Be a great sniper. But if you're not, that's for me the part where the frustration factor really comes in, is the incredibly newbie player that destroys you with a sniper rifle when you're on a 25 gun streak. Or even a higher one, like if you're one of the super beasts that gets 67 gun streaks or whatever. But going on further with that, the skill gap, I guess, is the next topic I wanted to touch on. And I know there's going to be a lot of varying opinions on this, but in a lot of ways I think that because of the lack of toughness and other aspects to this game that I've seen so far, including really the specialists, the creativity factor with how you use and apply the specialists, I think is going to be one of the things that really sets good players apart from weak players. As well, the movement, you know, like Advanced Warfare's movement, it took some learning to get used to, but I really think that this one's going to even take a little bit more time to figure out and really master. And those people that take the time to really get good at using the movement abilities in this game are going to be the guys that, coupled with the specialist abilities, are going to really dominate Black Ops 3. It's going to, you know, kind of just create a whole new list of things that you're going to need to hey. it's gonna, you know, create a whole host of things you're really gonna need to work on to do really well in this game. And I think that that's gonna be, you know, something that it will be a little more evident as time goes along while playing this game, that, you know, the people that have taken their time to get good at using the movement abilities are going to be dominating people. Let's see, crutch perks. For me, so far, the only things that I felt like were really important for me that I used so far were Blind Eye, Fast Hands, and Tac Mask. And it just kind of plays again to my playstyle. I don't really like using Scavenger. I prefer to pick up extra guns. I may be using Scavenger here and there in this game, but Fast Hands also kind of gives you some additional options that you don't necessarily get with other things. Come here, cutie tootie. Hutch it up for just a second. You know, and then, so I mean, you know, and taking toughness out of the game is definitely going to reduce the crutch perks, but I feel like the strength of grenades in this game is going to make Flak Jacket and or you know, Tac Mask kind of critical in a lot of ways, and that's the thing, man. People always talk about crutch perks, critical perks, etc. They're just never really going to go away. Now, there may be ways to mediate them and create a system where, you know, like certain perks are a little less important than they were in previous games, and they're not required, but they're beneficial. But at the same time, there's always going to be that aspect of the game that really frustrates you and really affects you and your playstyle more than other things. So you're going to have perks that are going to be crutches. But anyway, this kind of sums up my things. You know, happy pub stomping to you. I'm excited to see what everybody can bring up in gameplays, what I can bring up, and I wish I had more time with this beta before it was over. Red Bear 59, see you later. Peace.